Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back, Prakash here again. So we're going to continue the amazing series. This time, what are the top 5 amazing things that you'd have when Saturn is well positioned in the third house? Okay, what is the third house? The third house is all about your abilities to manifest all the values that you have in the second house. Okay, the second house is all about your values. You're preparing yourself in this journey of life. The second house, right? First and second is prep work. The third is actually execution of that second house. Okay, you're beginning to do things. You're moving out. You're standing on your own feet. Okay, so it's basically the part where you put, you walk the talk, right? So what are the things that the third house will do is that it will bring out all these qualities, all these established values in your second house into action. Okay, it is the kinetic force, it's the impulse. Okay, it's a natural impulse to get things done, right? So the Saturn is, of course, it's all about acceptance, very important. It's about giving you wisdom and also the bare basics of life, clarity of life. This is what life is, right in your face. Okay, that's what Saturn is. All right, so what happens when these two guys comes together? The synergy here is that, and remember, it has to be in a good position, and the third house should be in an unafflicted state. Okay, so number one is that you are far-sighted, a visionary, someone who is able to see things before it happens, someone who has great beliefs, great commitments, and also self-assuring personality that what he or she wants in future will be there waiting. Such a great thinking, is a true visionary in that sense. Okay, number two is these people create radical changes wherever they go. Okay, now say if they are moving to a new job, say you're a clerk, you're going to your first job. Okay, your job is to do invoicing, for example. Okay, what you do is you go in first, you will sift through. Now this is on day one itself, right? You will sift through all the processes which are going on there. What are people doing, who's who, and you'll come up with your own conclusion. Okay, looks like this office runs this, and this person is about that, and this process is about this, and how can I make all this improve, or how can I make it to my betterment, to my preference? Such radical thinking is rare to come by. Okay, people normally follow what people say, right? They just mimic. Okay, this is what you're supposed to do, just do, that's it. But not you. You are different. You want to see changes. Okay, regardless of anything. Cheap publicity is the least thing in your mind, right? Work is worship, kind of thing. So you take some things, whatever you see, you change it, you radicalize it, right? So which means only a person with great commitment and creativity, right, can have this radical thinking. So that's the second one, a great thing to have. The third thing is strong memory, grasp of memory, the ability to pick up new things in a short span of time. Okay, you don't need a long time to learn new things. New things can come to you like a flash. It doesn't matter if you're 16 or you're 60, doesn't matter. Learning is effortless for you. That's a great thing. Next is enemies doesn't stay a chance. They cannot compete with you. People who are enemies doesn't mean people who wants to hurt you physically, right? Enemies are people who are in a competitive nature with you. People who are always in a rivalry. They want to compete with you every time. People who are jealous about you, envious about you, right? All these people are, we call as shatru or enemies, right? So these people don't stand a chance with you, right? They because you're always better than them. You know why? Because whenever they're sleeping, you're working. Whenever they're eating, you're working. You're working. Because remember, the residues of the second house is values. And once a solid value is being established, the third house has no choice but to put it into action. It must make sure that your values are executed perfectly. So you're always continuously doing the right thing, right? So there can never be any competitors or challenges with you. You'll always come victorious. You'll always win, right? Because you don't expect anything in return. You do it because out of the most sincerity, with the purest heart, with dharma. You do it because it's your duty, it's your job, right? And the last is, I'm sure you heard about, from rags to riches. People who become, from living in the streets, to sit in a palace, right? So you've heard stories about that. Now these are the people who have these qualities as well. You don't need, say, if you have this, you really don't need whatever things for you to do your work, right? Let's say if you are an aspiring YouTuber, okay, like me, okay, so you don't need the fancy things with you, right? You just need a simple old phone, maybe some simple lightings, and you're good to go, all right? With whatever that you have, you can work towards it, right? You don't need support. You don't complain. You don't have grudges over people. You don't have resentment over what you have, what you don't. Whatever that you have, you will fulfill with it, and you'll be happy with it, and you'll get the job done, right? So these are the top 5 amazing things that you'd have when Saturn is well positioned in the 3rd house. I'll cover on the 4th very soon, so stay tuned. Take care, guys. Namaste.